Okay, so from what we can see on the map, from what we would have known before we jumped aboard the Guinevere, uh, this island is about 150 miles away, and we know that we are traveling on a a brigantine, which is a gargantuan vehicle. Um, it Here, let me go ahead and show you guys pretty much where we're at here. So, in the left-hand corner, we can see a pretty good visualization of the kind of ship that we've got here. New water being just like Metropolis that it is. It's able to build these giant ships. There's only a few of them. They're built specifically for um, travel to the new island. As we all boarded the ship, we boarded about 50 people into the ship at one time. You could see that below deck we had sheep and goats and cows and just sort of, all our farm creatures and all that kind of stuff being loaded into the bottom of the deck. And then of course the more rich folk with their long gold etched coats and flowing robes got to go to the very top. And then depending on who you guys are, you guys all found your way somewhere toward the middle levels of this gargantuan boat called the Guinevere, with many sails, many travelers um, from many different lands of the Faerun. So pretty much every single race that you can think of every single background, of every single type of wealth class has boarded this ship, and it is set to arrive to the island of Darnen tomorrow morning. So, the entire morning, the entire afternoon, you guys would have been able to settle in to your rooms. You each decided on the size room that you got, either cozy, a medium-sized room, or the, fancy, wealthier room. So by the time we all begin and we're all settled into the Guinevere and all of the movement has died down, we see strong, sweaty sailors of more brute races carrying barrels in and getting everyone's stuff inside. You guys are able to settle down. It is past the afternoon. It is now approaching um, the twinkling nightly hours, and everything is mostly quiet in the ship. So we're going to first sort of introduce you guys individually, since you have been exhausted most of the day from the moving and the changing hands and lines and money and trying to figure out where on the boat you're going to be. So let me go ahead and show our characters here. And then Jarn is in another part of the boat. You guys are not going to meet today. But in the many hours that you guys have spent, rocking back and forth on these ocean waves, you have finally made it. You have finally left um, Waterdeep. You've left the Faerun. You have no plans of coming back anytime soon. On this first day, was there anything that you guys would plan or prepare or sort of do before anything begins? And we'll go in order of top to bottom. Would Marcus have anything in particular he'd be doing on this journey while waiting to reach Darnen tomorrow morning?
Um, Unfortunately, Marcus didn't bring any good books to read, so currently he is incredibly bored, not a lot to do on the ship, at least not a lot to do that's interesting for him. So he's just on the bed trying to rest, but he's always strolling with the bed. He isn't really finding the comfortable position to nap in.
So that brings up a good
And
point. I will say, even though you did get sort of the middle class bed, it is a bed that's on a boat that's been on a boat forever. You can like assume they don't really like fix the fix the beds. They don't really change them out very much. So you can feel the rough like wood paneling below it and the like fluff inside of it is falling out of stitches that have opened up, so it's not too comfortable.
Is quick question, is the room like very dirty?
It's a pretty clean room. It definitely smells like wet wood, you know. So it's kind of musty, but it's cleaned up. It's not like molding or rotting or anything like that.
Okay, so alright, then Marcus is just yeah, he's very discomfortable and he isn't very happy with the bed.
Okay.
But for him, it beats being having to talk with a certain wizard that he knows.
Mm. Anything you're doing with your dresser? Do you have any extra clothes to put in or anything like that, or is it
Uh,
just posh for you?
yeah, I have some common clothes with me, but I like the current clothes I'm wearing.
Okay. All right then, Yakeru. What is it that you're spending the majority of your day on this ship doing while you wait?
Uh, Yakiru is he's comfortable with these surroundings. He's been not sharpening, just cleaning his sword, and he's taken off the outer garment of his robes, but he still has the acceptable casual ones underneath, and he's just practicing his forms,
Okay.
relaxing, meditating, every now and again going above decks to take in the air and
All right.
taking things as they are.
Okay, and then Hawk and Yinfir, you both knew that you were going to have poorer conditions based on the amount of gold that you spent for your rooms, but you did not quite um, expect it to be this poor of condition. So I would say Hawk's bed is in a little bit better shape. All of the panels are connected to the bed frame. But as you can see, the hay that was supporting, what was supposed to support your back has fallen through. It's sort of clumped together as if it had taken some water damage. So it's like solidified. Um, and that's pretty much all you got in your room. Other than that, the floor isn't like molded or anything. It's just this bed is like, oh my god, how am I gonna sleep in it? And for Yinfir, uh, the panels are broken on yours. There's no water
Oh, cool.
damage to there's no water damage to the hay at all, so it is dry. It hasn't, been molded or anything like that. But you can see somebody who is much heavier than yourself had broken the panels to your bed frame. So we'll go from left to right. Hawk, what is it you do upon finding yourself in this room for a day and a night and a morning? Right now it's
Knowing me,
nighttime. I'm not saying that it's like you have to do all, but you know you're gonna be in this place for a while, is what I'm saying. Anyway.
yeah. So knowing me, I would have been, uh, after seeing the state of this room, I would have been spending as much of the day as I could in uh, any of the crew
Sure.
quarters that I could be, sharing around some of the booze that I can pour from this new jug that I created.
Yeah.
And by the time I make it back to my room, hopefully I've had enough in me to be not caring as much about the poor state of the room. But considering all the camping I've done in my past and my history in the wilderness, this I've been in worse.
So
At least I don't have rain over my head.
yeah. So mentioning that, pretty close by, I would say just a hallway away, and you all would have been aware of this once coming in. You would have arrived from over here. I'm not sure if you can see my
Yep.
thing. You would know that over here, and past the hallway that is in front of these doors, is a sort of small, put together tavern sort of area. When you arrived and put all your stuff away, it was pretty empty. Maybe one or two people were in there. There are lit lamps in it, but they were dark, so it was just sort of a dark, empty tavern. But you could have still spoken with the bartender and gotten some ale from him. How much? If you guys were going to nourish yourselves, does anyone? You guys have rations, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're gonna go to the bar and you'd say you'd get a mug of ale, you can take um, a gold off because we'll only be using gold, unfortunately. But if you want to use your rations for today, you can wait until later on in the evening to use them, or tick one ration off um, now if you were gonna eat in the afternoon. But with the and then Yinfer, what would Yinfer have done in this situation as well? Your bed looking a little bit worse for wear than Hawk's.
He'd probably just sigh and resign himself to to what he's been given, because he figured he probably wouldn't be able to sleep all that well anyways, between the rocking of the ship and just the anticipation of what he's gonna see and what he's and the past that he's trying to leave behind him. Figured I wouldn't get a whole lot of sleep anyways. At least it's safe and warm and dry, and that counts for
Yeah.
something. He just make the best he could out of it.
All right, so pretty much everybody deciding to make the best they can out of this situation. Nighttime finally comes, and you all have finally gotten as comfortable as you can when uh, the quiet of the room is interrupted. And from those, you guys are on the second floor, Marcus and Yakiro, but you can hear the muffled sounds of a lute being beautifully played below you, where you know that there is sort of a makeshift tavern. And Hawk and Yinfir, you guys see below your doors, sort of boots clopping toward this tavern. You see the lanterns have been lit, so you see the glowing light of candle below your doors, and it seems this like once dreary, empty ship has come to life as we hear the clinking of glasses and the murmuring of people speaking from where we know the tavern is. What would anyone have any immediate reactions? You guys on the top floor, would you be interested in seeing what the ruckus is downstairs, or was there anything in particular you would do after this?
I just don't want to stay in this room, so I'm just gonna check what's happening.
Okay.
I'm just gonna see.
So let me go ahead and show you where you guys would be if you went downstairs. Oops. The void. Alright. Okay. So if you want to move your character over to the staircase, that's pretty much where you're at right now. If you
Over
can
here?
see that.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, like right over there. So you would have gone down a flight of creaky stairs down to a lantern-lit hallway. You can smell the wafting odors of sheep and goat and pig below this grate here. Yukeru, would you have gone downstairs to check out what's going on at all?
I would have enjoyed the music for a moment, with
Okay.
my hearing being good enough to hear it through the wall, and I would have eventually made my way out to
Okay.
go downstairs.
So Marcus and Yakira would you guys would probably bump paths. I think Marcus would be a little bit more ahead of Yakiru. But I would say you guys would have bumped paths in the hall. It is an empty hall, and it is pretty much just the two of you standing down here. And before I'd let you guys know, or you guys let each other know what you see as you bump into each other down the hall. Hawk and Yinfer, who would have gone out to sort of check what's going on.
Yenfear probably would. He's like, I'm probably not sleeping anyways. Might as well see what's going on.
Okay. Okay, so a door creaks open as the both of you are going down the staircase heading towards this tavern, and then Hawk, what is it that you would have done after hearing this music? Would you head it out as well, or would you pretty much stay put in your bed?
Nope, sounds like a party's about to start, which means more
Okay.
booze, so I'm gonna head out.
All right. You sound excited. Would you have, just slammed this door open and, anticipating more booze?
Oh yeah, and I'm carrying a jug in my hand as I slam the door open and kind of take a step out and still getting my bearings on this boat. So I'll take a look left and right and see a couple more people about, coming down the stairs.
Yeah, so I can just see you just slam the door open like Shrek come out of his hut and put your hands on your hips and just have a big whiff of the stale ale air. But yeah, since Hawk has made the most the biggest opening here and gets all of our attention as we hear the door slam behind him and see this dwarf with you were a dwarf, correct? I don't want to get that wrong. I feel like I might have got that wrong. You're a human. You're a human. Sorry,
Hawk, yeah,
yeah,
very
I
human.
screwed up with because I play Magic the Gathering. That's magic artwork for a dwarf. But yeah, human. So you guys would have seen yeah, this door slam open if Hawk wants to. What does Hawk's appearance look like for everyone who goes and looks over and turns their head?
So Hawk is bald with hair that kind of rings around his head and comes down from his sideburns, goes down the line of his chin, and stops just underneath of his lips, and then comes up over his lip into a beard, into a mustache. Um, no shirt, but he's got some chainmail on that looks like it has some weird contraptions and pulleys and rods attached to like the his belt and his knees and everything, and he's got these pair of gloves on that have kind of a glowing gem on them. Always a couple of tools hanging from his belt, and he looks over. Hey, so you guys are headed for the party, right?
Well, it beats staying in those damn rooms upstairs, that's for sure.
So Marcus is the first to respond. What is Marcus's appearance?
Marcus is a human. He has this very well-groomed mustache that he likes to keep. He has slick black hair that's slicked to the back, and he wears these long red and yellow robes that he really likes having. And he walks in the way that like it isn't like pompous, but it's like in a way that you can tell this guy like studied somewhere very fancy, let's say, because he's always walking straight up with his head up and his hands behind his back.
Like he was trained to walk this way, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we see Marcus and Hawk here. We don't know their names yet, obviously. Immediately, communicate with each other. Yakiru and Yifnir, would you guys be more cautious to, talk to these new people, or how would you react?
Yinfir would definitely be more cautious, yeah.
Okay. So
Bow slightly.
what would we see looking at Yinfir sort of staying quiet and staying in the background here?
So he's fairly tall and slender, and he has like an angular face and blue eyes, and he's got like brassy blonde hair about shoulder length that's pulled back into a ponytail. He's wearing leather armor that you can tell is looks like it will certainly protect, but it's also well worn and has definitely gotten a lot of use.
Okay. And then Yakiru over here, how would you react to these new individuals?
Yakiru simply smiles and sort of a slight bow, and just seems to be quite relaxed. One hand not lent aggressively, but simply relaxed over the top of the sword and the belt. The other trailing at the side. He's just taking it in and interested in these new people he's met.
So, Yakiru has this definite more elegant appearance to him. What is it that Yakiru looks like to these new beings?
Yakiru certainly looks different. At first glance, he appears as a simple young man. Upon further inspection, you might notice that he's got slightly more elven features. Several light yet slightly noticeable scars on the forearms. Others just peeking out from the open neck on his shirt. And at his hip, he's got a rather elaborate obi, a sash or belt with his two swords through the left. The rest of his robes are just a simple match of dark greys and blacks, nothing fancy. Hazel eyes, black hair tied in not a top knot, just a loose knot. The rest left to hang over one eye,
Okay.
and a short trimmed beard.
So we all bump into each other in this hallway. Marcus and Hawk immediately are, you know, speak speak with one another, and Hawk, since you had sort of, um, spoken up about maybe we should, go grab a beer, go grab an ale. Um, what would we communicate with each other in any other way here, or just walk in? Would you guys say anything else to each other? What would be the
Uh,
conversation as we walk into the tavern?
I would like to say, well, my apologies. I don't think we've introduced ourselves properly. I think I'll start. My name is Marcus. I come from Silvery Moon. I am a wizard, and a very gifted one by that. And I am from the School of Conjuration. How about all of you?
Who would pipe up first, if anyone?
Ian Fear would probably be hesitant to answer.
Okay. Would Hawk
Yeah,
like to go?
I'm Hawk. Sorry about that. Where are my manners? I sometimes forget them at home, I guess. But yeah, I'm tinkerer by trade, fighter sometimes when I need to. Uh, don't really know kind of what else at this point. Maybe you'll get more out of me once we've had some more libations to loosen these lips.
That would be very pleasant indeed.
All right. So let me go ahead and reveal our little makeshift tavern that is built into this ship, and you guys might able to find the source of this music. It doesn't sound like it is. It sounds like it is a single musician that's playing very skillfully. All right. So we walk in here, and you guys can go ahead and move your characters wherever you would, and whoever did not speak, you guys can either choose to follow along or stay back. But it does appear that there is one open table not being used. Below us, we can see two commoner-looking individuals. They don't particularly seem to be of any unique trade. Um, they seem to be more lower class, but they're not elderly individuals. They're probably in their 40s and 50s. They're just sitting quietly eating their soup, not talking with one another. In the very center of this tavern here is a very elegantly dressed dragonborn. He's got these puffy, um, the puffy shoulders, and he's got the long coat tail, um, suit that's buttoned up with, silver clasps, and he just looks to be somebody of high esteem, who is just humbly looking down to his lute and playing it very skillfully. In the corner here, we see, in the less lit part of the tavern, is a group of rough-looking sailors. Three of them are human. One of them is a half-orc. We might have seen them. A couple of you might have seen them dragging barrels onto the ship as you entered. But they're just sort of a rough group of sailors. We can see them gambling. One of them is playing darts in the corner here. He's pretty good at it. Um, you guys can pretty much perceive what you will. It looks as if the half orc is sort of just, he's got his arms crossed and he's got his back leaned into the chair, and he's just watching the gambling game going between his two other crew members. And behind the bar is another half orc who's, he's very simply dressed. We see him pouring some ales, organizing his bar stand, and just, cleaning dishes. But upon seeing you guys walking into the bar, he would look up to you, raise an eyebrow, and say, "Welcome to the nightly service of the Guinevere. My name is Morvai, and I am here to help you in any way you wish, for whatever drink or whatever food you may ask. This is a big ship, and we do have a lot to offer. How can I help you?
How much?
Any
Gotta
of you
remember to
want
unmute
something
myself.
to drink?
I'm
Yes.
seeing if I have any money.
I'd approach and just sort of nod and smile, politely as I can, and just sort of, your strongest, whatever you have, please.
My strongest, you say? Well, of course, if I were to do that, it would be of my own homeland. I'm sure those of you who are familiar with less fancy schmancy places of the world might know of Oak Crag. Is this what
Oh,
you
God.
wish?
A small glass, please.
But of course. And he grabs a glass, and I know Paul's heard of this before. Um, but yeah, he grabs a glass and he grabs, he pulls the lever of a tiny little steel, screwed barrel, and he just fills it with this gelatinous, green and brown, looking ale. It does foam like ale would, but it is definitely more gelatinous than it should be. And he slams it on the table, and it lets out a foul stank that burns your nose hairs. And you said, this one's on the house. Let's see how you fare with it.
I smile. I bow to him and I take it in both hands like I would a cup of sake, and I drink it before him.
Okay, go ahead and roll Constitution.
Alright, let me just have a look, make sure I'm not missing anything. Alright, let's do this.
What's everybody's race? Is it 2 humans and 2 half elves?
I'm a high elf.
High elf.
I'm a human.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. So Yukeru, you drink it and it burns your esophagus. You immediately cough it out. You are not able to even swallow it. And Morvi just chuckles to himself and says, "When you're ready for a more," and he lifts his pinky, "elegant drink for you folk. Come back and let me know what it is that you need that's a little weaker."
I will smile at him and say, ah, just like I remember.
He
And I
raised
will-
both eyebrows. What?
I will walk over to this man and simply just strike up a conversation of beginning a wager with the throwing game.
Okay, we'll go to that. The rest of you, as Yakiru walks on over to this rough and tumble looking man, would anyone, want a drink or something to eat by him, or would you sort of just wave him off, be like, "Nah, we'll just sit down"?
Yes, your cheapest ale, and keep it coming.
All right, quantity over quality, it seems. Sure, I'll get an ale for the house. All of you can. Can drink what you will, and I'll set it on the table for you, and we'll refill it. It'll just be one goal from each of you who is going to sit together and participate in the drinks. Was it anyone except for this more rough human fellow who would want our cheapest ale and keep it coming, as his instructions said?
I will just have 1 cup of ale, thank you.
All right. And he spends some time brewing it up. So Yukiru, you walk over to this human. He's got a scar running down his lip. He looks like he has a reset broken nose. It's sort of like curved over, and he does have a bald head. And he's wearing just like, sweaty leather, armor. And he doesn't really. I think he like just sort of eyes you when you walk by. Doesn't really seem friendly. Stays cold and just continues quietly using the dartboard.
I will stand beside him, not too close, and nod towards the board. Are they darts or knives or?
They're darts.
I'll just nod to him and say, a wager, if you will.
He raises an eyebrow and says, "If you're offering me money, Sure. What is it that you wish to give for this wager?
A gold again, for as long as we can until one man's broke.
Sounds like a good recipe for me. Go ahead and hand over your gold to the table. I'll put mine right next to it. My crew leader, Mazdog, will watch to make sure there's no funny business.
I put down my gold and I will allow him to throw the first.
Okay. So this is going to be, we'll do roll to hit.
Like throw and dagger throw?
Yeah, so like roll to hit, so it'd be like, the darts are gonna be like a finesse weapon. So you can either
Cool.
use strength or dex, and then it's just whatever your bonus is. I'll say that, the outer ring, we'll say there's like 2 rings. It's either, the regular ring, or it's the like 100 like gold in the middle. So let's say that you guys say that you offer, if somebody wins, or if somebody gets the dart in the very center, you have to pay double.
Okay.
Was that something that you would agree to with this guy?
Yeah. Are we doing for the stats? Do you want me to just use the throw and dagger?
Well, it's not going to really deal damage.
I mean, for the finesse part from the dex thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
Cool.
All right, so he's going to go first. He's gonna, wink one eye and sort of gauge the weight, and then he's gonna go ahead and throw it in. So the outer ring's gonna be an AC of 10, and then the inner ring's gonna be 15. Oh fuck! Donk. Very center. All right. And he stands aside with a grin on his face and says, "After you, strange man."
I will flick my wrist from within my robe, mentally using my true strike, which I will pop into the chat.
Okay. Oh, nice. Awesome.
And I will make my attack.
I think this is the only non-ironic use of True Strike I've ever seen. That cantrip is absolutely garbage.
Wow. Okay. You also get it in the center, almost knocking out his dart. Like, you just sort of embed yourself right into where his struck, and he begins to grimace as his teeth seems to have been grinded down a millimeter. And he goes, "Step aside." All right, and he pulls his dart back out, and with even more focus tries to get it in the center once
Does
more.
this mean that it was doubled and then doubled again, so it's now 4 gold?
It's whoever. Yeah. You know what? Fuck that. Let's not do that. That's too fucking complicated. I'm gonna say if the last person who got it in the middle like wins, like the person failed after that, then it's doubled. So we'll just see how this goes. He's gonna go ahead and try to get in the center again as well. Holy fuck. Okay. So
Coin flip.
he's focusing a little too fucking hard. You know how like you do really good once, and then like you're like, I gotta do just as good the next time, and then you just completely
Focusing
fucking flop.
really hard and just fucks it.
Yeah, that's pretty
Some
much
level
how it
from
goes.
20 to 1 real quick.
Yeah, so he tosses it, puts a little too much strength into it, and it goes way off the board, and it just doing right into the fucking wood wall next to the door. Morvai turns to see this and points at this crew member with his muscular arm full of hair, and he just quite a shot that was, Davo. And Darvo sort of just like kicks the floor. It looks like he's trying not to punch you, Yakeru, like he's got his fist just sort of clenched, and then he walks off and says, "All right, just throw it."
I'll regard him professionally. I won't laugh or I'll pretend I didn't notice it. And I'll just keep concentrated and throw my own.
Okay, cool. You get it. Doof. perfectly in the center once more. He cusses and swears to himself up and down, says, "Fine, take the gold." And he reaches into his pocket and he pretty much throws the, double the gold on the ground at your feet. Totally disrespectful. And then he just walks off to his chair and sits down with his companions. So you've got to pick up the gold by yourself, the 2 on the table, and then the 2 that was thrown at your feet.
I'll collect the 2 off the floor and walk over to the table and place them in front of him and say, "Unless you want to go again."
No, leave me be.
I'll nod and I'll head over to the bar and just say to the barman under my breath, "An ale for him. I think he's bitter, a little bit." And
He
I'll walk over to here with
opens his eyes a little bit and says, "That man completely disrespected you. Are you really willing to buy an ale for him?"
I'll just smile and say, "I have killed men for less, but I'm enjoying myself." And I'll just order an ale for myself and an ale for the man at the table, and then I'll go over and sit
Your
with my
decision, kind gentleman. I'll make sure Darvel knows. And he goes and cooks it on up. Alright. So the rest of you are now sitting at the table.
How much did I get from that, by the way?
You had 4 gold.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I made money.
You
That's
did.
it, I do.
So you guys are witnessing this game take place and see sort of the complete childish temper tantrum thrown by this sailor. As Yakiru, walks on over very calmly to the table and sits beside the rest of you. What would we do after witnessing that strange, interesting game?
I would like to say, I must say, your aim is quite deadly.
It's just a honed skill. Anyone could learn it. A simple trick.
Hmm.
Yourself, you said you
Interesting.
were a wizard?
Well, yes, I am, and I'm very proud of it.
Certainly takes time to master and learn.
It does indeed. A lot of books, a lot of time, a lot of failed spells. But let's not talk about the failed spells. Not
Might
yet,
I
at least.
might I ask what made you pursue this path?
I guess you could say natural curiosity. I wanted to know more, and I decided that becoming a wizard was the best path. There are so many things to discover. This world is not the only world here. There are many other worlds. I want to explore all of it. I don't want to leave a single crevice of this universe left unchecked. Now, of course, obviously and rationally, that is impossible, but a man can dream, and it is important to have big ambitions, I believe.
Yakiru is in love with this idea and is engrossed in the idea of these worlds and says to him, "I only know of another world. The spirit realm. My family speaks of this sometimes. What others can you tell me?"
I must say, I still haven't discovered a lot of worlds, not a lot I have read about them, but this spirit realm, what is it?
It is believed that my ancestors go here after battle. When they fall honorably, they are sent to this land to live out dutiful lives. And they come to us when we are born as guides to help us in warfare and life.
Amazing. So it's like the afterlife for honorable warriors, I'd guess.
I believe so. I hope so. I hope to see it one day.
Does one of your ancestors guard over you?
I believe so.
Hmm.
My grandfather passed away not too long ago, but he was a good warrior, a kensei. Have you heard the term?
Can't say. Hmm.
Would you want to
Do
roll
I?
history?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Wait, where is it? There it is.
Nice.
Oh fuck yeah!
Ooh, 20.
Whatever the book definition is, you can go ahead and let him know, Alex.
So in Japanese culture, a kensei, and the same in my version of this high elf culture, is a sword saint, and they're revered sword masters, people that have dueled multiple opponents and are recognized as someone that both teaches and practices almost religiously the art of the sword. Sort of that Miyamoto Musashi kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
see.
just living by it.
Wow, that is. Yes, I have heard of the Kensei. He was a very dedicated man to the sword, wasn't he?
He made it his life. He did not have a lot of time for family in his youth, but he made time for me before the end. I owe him everything I know.
It's good to have him in your memory.
As Yakira and Marcus talk about, their past with one another, would anyone else, sort of pipe in and talk about what they're looking for and where they came from?
I think Ian Fear probably, which I believe it would probably be the first time he's spoken. He's fairly reserved.
Okay.
But say, so Marcus, you're an explorer.
What? I'm sorry?
So you enjoy exploring? I have a fondness for getting lost in the woods myself.
Oh, trust me, my friend, I got lost a lot of times during the woods, but eventually I did find my way back to civilization. But yes, I am very fond of exploration. After all, I am in this boat for some reason. How about yours? How come you people are here? What's your goal with this island?
I'd love to explore a new land, and well, I'm trying to escape my past. I'd rather not talk about it. But I'm
I won't insist.
looking to explore a new place and meet new people. And so far, I'm eating at one of those.
Would Hawk pipe up at all?
Yeah, so I'm just here to investigate the new land and see what new creatures I can harvest parts for. You see, I made new technology. I'm calling Magitech. It's a combination, to see, of magical infusions and technological know-how and springs and pulleys and hydraulics and all this stuff that you probably don't know anything about, but I found that creatures with a magical essence could have their parts harvested and imbued into my machinations to create wondrous contraptions. You see, Hawk is at this point leaning back on his chair is leaning back on the back two legs, and he's got the mug of ale in his left hand and holds up his right hand, and you see this hand here, and then the hand actually pops off of his off of his wrist with a little cable, a thin cable attached to the end of it, going to the spot on where it's attached to his gauntlet. No, you don't, because I lost that to a boulette. Tried to eat the rest of me, but I gave him a piece of my mind and a piece of my hand, and apparently I taste delicious.
Would anyone
And,
have a reaction to seeing Hawk's hand pop off of his body?
I would
That is
smile.
quite the
and-
fascination.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it, just just marveling, like. This
Did you
is
make a
strange.
3D hand? What in the hell?
Wow.
it's an animated GIF as a mage hand
Oh,
for a
that's
token. Yeah.
awesome. Cool.
So a lot of the tokens that I have, the spell tokens that I imported for this game, are not all of them, but a lot of them are animated GIFs to kind
that's
of make them a little bit
awesome.
more special. They should be sized correctly for any kind of spells that we use. So whenever we're having those, during the game, if we need them, feel free to use them. Everybody
Sure.
should have the ability to drag them out.
Wow.
If there's not any, if there's one in there, or there's one that you have that's not in that list, let me know and I'll try and get something made for it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, good to know.
Yakiru's gonna like try to shake the hand while it's flown.
Is he able to?
Oh yeah.
Oh, awesome. This mechanized hand that is detached from Hawk's body reaches out and shakes your own.
I
And after
gonna
shaking your
whack-
hand, it actually like starts walking across the table on the two fingers, like the Adams Family thing, and then walks over next to the bard and just starts like dancing to the tune on the floor.
I think the bard would look over in shock, stutter a little bit, but then look curious, and he would begin to, in a reptilian, raspy voice, chuckle a little bit as he looks to all of you, gives you a very kind nod, and sort of plays around with his music as he sees this hand dancing around, trying to match with time signature to the rhythm of him jumping around. Who here has the highest perception?
Mine natural perception.
Yes.
Mine's 17.
Okay.
Mine is perception.
I have
Oh,
11.
14.
Anyone have higher
I
than
put
17? I wouldn't think so.
nope.
Yeah,
I put
probably
my
not.
stats on my
How
character
much
name.
How much is passive wisdom?
Um.
10 plus whatever your
Yeah.
wisdom modifier is.
Okay, I have 11.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
17's crazy.
Now you get to add your 2 for proficiency bonus if you're proficient in perception.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I am.
so yours is 19 then.
Well, it says 17, but I'm
It
proficient.
probably
in
already
perception.
adds all of them out.
Yeah, so
Oh.
if you have a check mark by it, already added to your proficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
17.
in this lighthearted scene of you all getting to know each other, and this bard, not really, he's not introducing himself to you, he's still performing, doing his job, but he's showing you some gratitude with what you've done here. Gives him a little bit more to do. Yakiru, you feel a strange chill up your spine. Something isn't right. You feel eyes on the back of your head. Um, it feels like the table behind you is staring at you.
The table with the 3 goons and the orc.
Yes.
I will try to focus my senses in a sort of Last of Us style hearing thing, and try to sort of sense if I'm being looked upon, if it is those 4 gentlemen.
Okay.
Is that a perception check?
Yes, go ahead. Here, I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
It's a good
Your
perception
mom
check.
asked me
I
to
see
share.
the future.
You see
You
the
weren't kidding about
entire
that
game,
dance
the entire
Oh my
campaign.
god.
Just
So
You guys are on
pure
fire with these
shinobi
rolls
samurai
tonight.
vision.
Just wait. Next session, we're gonna roll all blue.
All
10.
one.
So I would
Yeah.
say that you don't even look back at them. The 3 of you, in the middle of, just sort of loosening up and having a lighthearted time, Yakiru seems to just have vacated the premises mentally here, as he just sort of goes cold, and you see him just close his eyes and sort of focus. And you would hear, one of them's name is Darvo, and one of their names is Mazdog. And you would hear Darvo whispering to Mazdog, nothing in particular, but you can make out words that say pretty much like, go cause them some trouble for what they've done here. And immediately after hearing that, you would hear the chair scoot from Mazdog, and you would hear the heavy boots um, of this muscular half-orc slowly clopping toward you.
As I hear the chair scoot, I'm gonna, because I would have it on me, I would tap the pommel of my sword very gently on the table, enough to get the attention of the people at my table. And I
Okay.
would say quietly, they mean trouble. And sort of motion my head slightly towards the oncoming gibbering ape.
Okay. Anyone have a reaction to that when he says that?
Yeah, as soon as he says trouble, I just you reach my hand over and tap a little button on the back of my right hand wrist, and you just hear this vzz as my hand reels back in.
Okay. Marcus,
Trouble.
any in fear?
Trouble. Why am I not surprised?
The inferior. Well, he primarily uses a bow, but that's on his back, so he's probably like ready to draw a short sword, so it would be a lot faster.
Okay.
Legolas.
Like he's like got his hand on it.
So I would say you guys, since you're all alerted to this, if you want to like declare a reaction, if something in particular happens, what would you do? Like you can pretty much visualize somebody like holding the dagger at their side, kind of thing.
If he goes for anyone at the table or goes to make a grab, the sword will come out. If he's gonna like reach with a weapon, then I'm gonna attack lethally, and it's just gonna be one of those like 1980s style, just like the blade just comes out and like hits whatever's in front of him. So like just kind of spin, stand, and cut.
Okay.
If he just goes to grab someone, then the blade's just gonna come out and stand in front of him and just
One
say his name.
reaction. Choose.
It's kind of an either or thing. If he goes to like hit us with a weapon, then yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
attack.
okay. So yeah, just pretty much if he declares combat, depending on the type of combat he declares, you're going to be either lethal or non-lethal about it. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
would I be able to specify that if he's doing it with his fists, I'm just gonna smack him in the face with the pommel, like pull
Yeah,
the
that's
sword
fine.
forwards out of the scabbard?
You can do that. That's cool.
Can I, if the other group like starts moving onto us, I want to hold my reaction and use my minor conjuration feature. And
Oh,
basically,
wow.
if they do show up, like I'm always with my hands on my back, so without them seeing, I'm gonna like create this bomb that isn't really a bomb because it doesn't exist.
You just
Like a
open your
stick of
coat and there's
dynamite.
just red and blue wires everywhere and a countdown
No,
timer.
if they start
Ah.
rushing onto us, I'm just gonna pull a stick of dynamite, which is an actual dynamite.
Wait, are
Let's
you actual stick of dynamite? That's totally cool with the setting. There's
yeah,
definitely
yeah, like
dynamite in
a
this
stick of
setting.
dynamite, and I'm gonna chuck at them if they come at us.
Oh,
But, I mean,
awesome. Okay.
it isn't actual dynamite.
Sure.
It's just a magic dynamite.
Yeah,
It's
just
just a
magic.
Totally
candle
different.
made to look like dynamite.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
basically
made
is.
to instill fear in the hearts of men, but nothing else.
I love it. It's a peace candle.
Yenfear and Hawk, would you guys have any sort of reaction if anything were to happen here that you know somebody is approaching and there might be trouble?
If he declares, well, if he declares combat, or I should say, if someone tries to attack Yinfir, he's ready to move. If he needs to like jump out of the way.
Okay.
I don't know if you can cue that.
So you want to jump out of the way if pretty much an action is made against you guys, hostile wise.
Yeah, if he's attacked, if
Okay.
Yinfir's attacked.
Cool. Get some distance. Sounds good. Hawk.
Getting ready to step up into their face
Okay.
if
cool.
they come too close and I see a weapon.
So, you do see that he's got a short sword at his side, but it doesn't look like he's reaching for it or has any sort of thought about, it's just sort of like he's a guy who, is rough and tumble and he's got a short sword. But so this lumbering, half-orc, sharp teeth, sharp as you can see in the artwork, and he's definitely got an underbite. Or excuse me, overbite is when the bottom jaw is above the top jaw, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's got that, and he's a little hunched over. He's incredibly muscular, and he's just sort of lumbering over to the table. And as he gets right up close to you guys, he's not showing any signs of aggression except for just having this dominant alpha male presence. And so he's not moving fast at all. He's staying casual. But he leans over and places both hands on the table. Boom! It shakes it a little bit, and you guys' ale begins to shake. And he looks to all of you, and he, grumbles one phrase. He asks all of you with just ale, scented breath, "Bronze God or Talon Brand?"
Before I answer, I will give his uniform a good look over.
Go ahead and roll. Well, what are you trying to figure out about it? Because that might change the roll.
I'm looking, there's gonna be sigils somewhere. He might have a necklace or a tattoo.
We can just do investigation, yeah.
Gonna fail. Yep.
Okay. So you sort of look him over and you just glance and are like, okay, he's just a rough and tumble sailor guy, having very simple stitched together clothing, and you don't really make another pass at him looking any deeper into the type of clothing he's wearing. So he looks to all of you anticipating an answer.
What did he ask?
Bronze Guard or Talonbrand?
The inferior will say, I don't know what you're asking.
Just 1 second, let me double check something here. Let's see. Okay. So Yinfer says, I don't know what you're asking. Would anybody else say anything, or would you sort of wait for a reply?
Never heard of him.
Confused by your proposal.
Okay. So he would look back toward Darvo, sort of nod at him, signaling to come over, and you see Darvo begin to chuckle, and he starts cracking his knuckles as he, grins and comes from the table and goes to meet Mazdog. And Mazdog says, those of you who do not affiliate yourselves with the rulers of this island are not fit to be a part of it. And Darvo knocks over Yakiru's ale and sort of gives him a vengeant grin of, this is what you get for beating me in darts.
I will look at him, lower my head slightly, with my right hand on the sword, and say, if you wish to draw blood, draw steel.
At this point, the Dragonborn would sort of back off. He would stop. He would slow down his playing. Like, he doesn't want to, treat this as if it's a situation that's going down. But he's got his eyes on you guys, and he's just like anticipating something going down. Morvi has stopped. He's just looking over at you guys curiously. He doesn't seem to be too concerned, but he's like waiting for the show. And you can see the two citizens down here look nervous as they just sort of try to maintain no eye contact and sort of stay in the shadows, not saying anything. So it's getting tense in the room. And it's at that point that Darvo would shove you on the shoulder, Ikaru, roughly, not like almost pushing you over.
Can I try and just say come on, gentlemen, let's all behave nicely. Let's not. And I'm gonna hand him the stick of dynamite.
Okay, let me go ahead and change something here so that we can have.
Beautiful.
Okay, just a second.
Let's not. Here's a grenade.
Let's not get too hasty.
Yeah, exactly. Minus the pin. Catch.
So at that point, seeing dynamite, excuse me. Seeing dynamite, the Dragonborn would stop playing as you just hear the bling of wrong notes hitting the strings. And he just holds the lute to his side. Go ahead and... Can you guys hear this? Okay.
Yep.
I'm not sure why it's saying
It was
looping.
Bronzeguard and Talonbrand.
Oh.
Here, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll give you guys actual, written description there. So, Darvo shoves Yakiru, which is followed by Marcus showing the dynamite.
No, I'm literally handing him the dynamite.
Well, he probably won't grab it. It's not a Bugs
Yeah,
Bunny
but even
cartoon.
even if it's just at his feet, he's still gonna be a bit. Well, what the hell is this dynamite?
Okay. Yeah, so seeing, is it like lit? Is there like a fuse?
Yeah, it's lit.
Okay, can you conjure sound or is it just visual?
I can use prestidigitation to make small sounds.
Okay,
So
but
it's
I mean
probably
with
wait,
you casting that spell, does
wait,
that
let me
spell
see.
do sound or is it just visual?
Uh, let me check.
Um, can I
The object doesn't say anything about sound,
can I do one of these?
but I presume it doesn't.
Can I give it sound?
Yeah, if you want
Oh,
to,
yes.
go for it.
Beautiful.
So at first, we don't hear anything coming from the fuse, and Darvo and Mazdog look at each other like something's up. This is kind of weird. But then we hear the fuse, and like, oh shit, okay, this is fucking real. And they go ahead and like wide-eyed just move to each side, and he's got a bomb. And that's when the citizens just like get up, they knock over their food and beverages, and they just like run screaming into the halls. And these two stand up from their tables immediately and look at each other like, "What the fuck do we do?" Um, and Morvi just begins laughing. Ho ho! What a show this is! So
That man has balls of steel.
yeah, that man's fucking good. Anyway, so
It's all the booze, man.
So the
He doesn't
Dragonborn
care
sort of
anymore.
like he like gears are turning in his head, and he looks to Darvo and Mazdog, and he says, "That's right. If any of you two mess with this group right here, there will be very explosive consequences."
I'm gonna look at him. I'm gonna say, no,
You say no?
to the pun.
Okay. He sort of scratches his head and goes, "Well." Mazdog would immediately try to grab the dynamite from your hand before the fuse goes out. Does it, if he were to grab it, does it
It is.
manifest or does it disappear?
It does. It is an animated object. It is
Okay.
an actual object that you can pick up.
So Mazdog just frantically, let's go ahead and do turn order now. So first Mazdog's going to frantically try to reach for it and
Would
get it
his
out of your
grabbing,
hand.
would
What?
his grabbing make my reaction come through, or
He's not trying to attack. He's just panicked and trying to get rid of this dynamite.
Alright.
So Darvo would say, "Toss it in the barrel! Toss it in the barrel, Mazdog!" Alright, so Mazdog's gonna reach for it, so we'll go ahead and roll for um, dexterity, I think, first, to see if you're able to like get it out of his reach in time. So I think that's what we're just gonna do, dexterity for that. So let me go ahead and go to his character sheet. Okay. Alright, so he reaches for it. Gets a 6. What do you get, Marcus?
What role is it?
It's just dexterity. See if you get it out of his reach before he grabs it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're able to take it out of his reach, and the fuse is coming down. So let's go ahead and roll initiative now. So I'm gonna add Mazdog. What you guys? I'm not sure if you guys have done this before, but you just right-click your character, add to turn, um, and then you can enter your
Ooh,
roll.
nice. Initiative buddies.
You got a 6 again.
How do I do it?
Darvo's gonna roll. You right-click your character and do add to turn. Add turn.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you have to click your. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Click yourself. Okay, go.
I
Oh, I rolled a
don't know how
1.
to do
Nice.
that.
Let's see.
Can you? I don't know how to do this.
What the fuck was
What
this?
was that?
Is there a clown among us? Just squishing their nose? What the hell was that?
Wasn't me.
Okay.
Sorry, that was me. My baby's crying.
Oh, okay. That's what that sound was. Oh, jeez. Okay. So 4, 4, 6, 6.
I'm Sorry, but I can't really get myself in the turn order.
Okay. What was your roll? Was it 16?
16.
Okay. Alright, is that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think that's everyone. So we got Hawk. If you're
Mine's
Mazda.
16.
Okay, there we go. Alright. And then I think Yakira has the higher dexterity, unless you guys want to choose who goes first. You guys can choose if you want.
I'm not too bothered. Either way, I'm stabbing someone.
Okay. So, the Dragonborn is going to sort of look between Darvo and Matsdog, and he feels more comfortable hitting Darvo. So he's gonna get advantage to hit because Darvo is looking at the it's gonna be a surprise attack because he is gonna try to hit him with his lute, and that is not a weapon.
You're just gonna hear the bing.
Yeah. So this Dragonborn bard holds his lute over his head and tries to smack it over Darvo's head.
Natural 1 hits himself in the toe.
Let's see.
Hey, that's pretty good.
17. All right, so
That's
he
nice.
smacks Darvo over the head with his lute, and we hear the bring as it breaks. He deals 4 damage to him. Max damage.
Max damage loot.
Bard loot attack. Okay.
Fucking beautiful.
So it
That's
just
what bards are supposed to do, right?
it's
That's how that
weapon of
class
choice,
works.
proficiency
Yeah.
to hit with loots.
Yeah.
So Darvo curses to himself as the loot splinters and breaks over his head. And next up would be Marcus.
Oh man, what do I do? I'm really enjoying watching this all
This
just
is a
unfold
pretty
with the dynamite. Yeah, I'm just
yeah.
laughing my ass
This
off.
is a pretty
but,
good turnout.
Like, which one of you isn't wearing armor?
I'm wearing armor.
Are you all wearing armor?
I think so.
Ah, okay. Oh well. Oh well, I'm just gonna... Oh man. I'm gonna do something really
Why
nutty.
is it playing Celtic Ocean now?
That's Celtic Ocean.
Celtic,
It's Celtic
my
the
bad.
football team, Celtic's the culture.
I'm sorry.
Respect my culture.
Yeah, you're right.
Ooh.
That is not at all what
Ooh.
I tried to do either. Oh, here we go.
But it's accurate.
Okay, so
It's not very dramatic though.
what is Marcus's move?
I am going to cast Dancing Lights, and I'm going to cast them inside the barrel.
Oh,
But
the
here's the thing.
the water barrel?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I can combine all the 4 lights to create this glowing humanoid creature. So from the barrel, you're gonna see this glowing humanoid creature, medium size, just come out of the barrel.
How can you do that?
You create up to 4 torch-sized lights within range. Make them appear as torches, lanterns, or glowing orbs, that yada yada yada. You can also combine the 4 lights into one glowing, vaguely humanoid
wow.
form of medium size, whichever form you choose. So yeah, it's just gonna be a human-looking guy.
Oh wow. So a humanoid figure emerges from the water barrel, and Morvi goes, "What the hell?" And he just backs up into the wall. Definitely not anticipating this.
Do I have control of the light? Can I have control
of the
token,
I will give you control
please?
of it.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and put it in our token layer here so you can do that.
I like how you just summoned like the Silver Surfer out of your ass.
Yeah, wizards. Man,
As you
what can I
do.
say?
Go ahead and
As
name it
wizards
Silver
do.
Surfer.
Yeah. Welcome to wizarding.
Does it have an AC and an HP?
It doesn't say here.
Okay, so it's probably just an image.
Like, yep.
No, it's not actually a creature. It's just a glowing
Yeah,
mode
it's
of
a
light.
glowing, vaguely
Okay.
humanoid form.
So all kinds of surprises going on here then. Are you able to do anything with it the turn you cast it?
Yeah. As a bonus action, I can move it up to 6 feet, and I'm just gonna have it move all the way over here, but I'm gonna have him backflip all the way over here.
Okay. Just like really slowly too, like completely absent of gravity,
Yeah,
like a wispy ghost.
exactly. And yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Everyone just sort of looks up in awe, like jaw agape at this, you know, Mr. Oh fuck, what's the guy from Watchmen called? The
Uh,
blue dude?
Dr. Manhattan?
Dr. Manhattan just backflips over everybody.
Upon seeing this, Yakiru just says, "I know he said to be like water, but that's extreme."
Here, I'm gonna make him a little smaller so that I so that I can because it would have took up a 15-foot square if I had him that size.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hot damn.
So yeah, for some reason stretching it is the only way to make it fill up that. So next up then will be Yakiru.
Considering I have what is an enemy of my enemy beside me, this
You
is
don't. By the way, I
technically-
will say you don't see them pull out their short swords at all.
Do they have them out
No,
at all, or
they've got them
okay.
at their side. It doesn't look like they're here to kill anybody.
Can I attack with the flat side of my sword then?
Yeah, that'd just be 1d4 bludgeoning damage.
Ah, damn it. You know what? He's an orc. He can fucking take it. If he
That's
cries, he
racist.
cries.
But
But I've got an
he
ally
can,
beside
though.
me, so that
I
means
should
that I
know.
get sneak attack damage.
Okay.
So I'm gonna whop this dude over the head. First, I'm gonna use my cantrip, which is my bonus action for my true strike, which gives me advantage. So I'll pop that in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Alright, sounds good. So I will say, so that you guys know what the status effects are, for those of you who haven't been around when I use them, if an enemy has an eye over them, that means they're affected by a magic ability. Whether it's a buff or debuff or anything like that.
What's the debuff to him again exactly?
Well, it's not really a debuff, it's you get... It doesn't have to be, it's just like you having some sort of magic effect on a creature is the like dripping eye thing. So you have True
Okay.
Strike on Darvo, so that's what that symbol's for.
Oh no, I was putting it on the orc.
Oh, you were putting on the orc. Okay.
Yeah, on the half orc.
Okay.
He can
cool.
take it.
Sounds good.
And I'm gonna just, again, anime style, just rip out the sword, and just go for a nice big cut. Hopefully ending it in one strike. I take the
Here we go.
23, because advantage.
Well, you do have
You
advantage.
do.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so you definitely hit him. You can smack him in the jaw with the butt of that, and let's do a 1d4 of damage.
Oh no, I'm doing lethal damage because you can take it.
Oh, are you slashing him with the sword?
Yeah, but I'm aiming for a limb.
Okay.
I'm
That
gonna
might
go for the
change
hand
things.
that tried to take the dynamite.
Okay.
It's
Jeez.
12, and then plus another 2d6. So 18.
Okay, just a second. I don't know why it's preventing looping. That's really fucking stupid. Here, let me... Okay, cool. Didn't do the disabled thing. Awesome. So 6 additional damage plus that too.
Yeah, so that's
Oh my
18 total
god.
to his left hand.
Okay. So I would say you're able to slash deep into his whatever muscle is before your bicep, like your forearm muscle. So I'll just say slash into his forearm, and it's like a deep wound too, just super clean cut, open wound. You can almost see bone, and he just looks to it in shock as his like arm is just shaking, and his
And then to
eyes
be
are
a
like almost
shithead,
popping out of his head.
to be a shithead,
yeah.
I'm gonna do like a low sweep and step back and move over to this guy, and place my sword between me and him. And Orky Dude can't hit me because of my rakish audacity, because I already hit him once.
Oh, is that an actual ability? Is that what it's called, Rakish Audacity?
Yeah, it's because I am a swashbuckler, and it's let me find the thing for you here. God
I believe you. But yeah, it'd be cool to see what the
Oh no,
actual
sorry,
like.
it's fancy footwork.
Oh, because I'm like, okay, okay, cool. So it'll be Mazdog's turn now as he grimaces, and he clicks open a pouch on his belt that has a button on it, and you see him with just wild eyes and a grimace on his sharp yellowed teeth. He pulls out a flintlock pistol, uh,
Oh.
and and he points it at you. But it is then that um, this Dragonborn, who had secretly, without all of you knowing, because he's not part of your party, so you wouldn't know, taken a reaction to also do something if these guys got lethally hostile, and the Dragonborn will reach out and will attempt to grab this flintlock pistol and sort of just like lower it. So he's gonna make a I think I'll do the same thing with the dynamite where it's a dexterity roll. So let's see. Oh shit. So the Dragonborn reaches out to try to grab the flintlock in time, but he trips. Um, and he doesn't fall to the floor, he just has to regain his balance. Mazdog sees that the Dragonborn tried to get the flintlock pistol out of his hand, and he just tries to hit him over the head with the handle of it. So that's just going to be a d4 of damage as well. But let me go ahead and get his character sheet up so that I know what his bonus is.
Not one.
Let's see. So, he is... Let's see. Here we go. So it's going to be a +4 to hit. And he does not hit him. This Dragonborn Bard loses his footing enough that Mazdog just goes right over his head. We can see like the wind of the heavy hit that would have hit him, but he's able to duck out the way just in time. And it is now Hawk's turn.
So a good old-fashioned bar brawl, is it? I'll take it. Get up and crack my knuckles, and then take a step over here and give this guy a good punch to the head.
Okay, so I will mention, Yakiru, it looked as if he was, you don't know if he was gonna fire or if it was just like a knee-jerk angered reaction, because he looked like he was hesitating. Like he was just standing there, and he might have stood there the whole action, you're not sure. But it did look like he was aiming directly at you. So Hawk tries to hit with the Thunder Gauntlet, but Darvo is able to take the hit, absorb it, with his strength. So you do hit him, but it just sort of oomps him a little bit and doesn't do any damage.
That's fine. And
All
then
right.
I'll just stand here looking at him and finish my turn there.
Just
Okay.
sat on the stool staring at him.
Yeah,
Yep.
he just sits down and waits for his turn. And Darvo, it will now be Darvo's turn as he does take out the short sword. Um, and he aims it at your throat, Hawk, but um, he does not go to strike. He says, "You don't know what you're messing with," and it seems as if he's waiting for you to move. And he says, "Tell you and your men to stand down, or we'll make a mess of this tavern." And you can see that if you were to move, he would try to slash at you. And it's now Yenfir's turn.
Yidfir is gonna try to not get involved if he can help it. He's going to stand up and like move back a bit and ready his bow, ready to shoot if he needs to.
Okay, so
But
reaction.
isn't going to.
Or-
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm trying to
Or
think
an
of what
action.
he would shoot in response to. It's more just like if I, because he didn't like walk in with any like he had his
Right.
bow, but he wasn't prepared to fight it. So he,
I think
it was on his back.
if it would be anything, I think probably the most dangerous thing in the room right now would be Darvo with his short sword to Hawk's throat. So I'm not sure if that's something you'd hone in on as sort of a
Yeah,
issue or something.
probably. It sees that Hawk is in trouble and ready to shoot if Darvo does anything.
Okay, it is now the bard's turn, and he is just going to talk. He's gonna try to persuade these guys. So he's gonna look to Mazdog and he's gonna say, "You old fool! You've already got your arm almost torn off. Tell your men to back off now before things get even bloodier. It looks like that man with the bun and the sword might make proper mincemeat of you." And he's going to roll. Let's see. For a 20 with that persuasion. Mazdog's gonna look over at the Dragonborn, still grimacing. He looks down at his arm that's just profusely bleeding with this wide open wound. And he's gonna say, "Darvo, stand down. They might have this one. Let's get out of here." And next up then will be Marcus. They're gonna try to disengage, but you guys can choose to keep engaging them. So Darvo does
Okay.
take his short sword away from Hawk, unpreparing that action.
Okay, so as a bonus action, I'm gonna have the Silver Surfer climb onto the table and just start dancing it out. And
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
yeah, and Marcus will just look at the half-orc and he will say, "That is a very wise decision, my half-orcish friend. Now, squad out of here." And that's gonna be it.
Is anyone staying engaged in combat? And who is disengaging?
I'm just gonna
Yenfir
do a
won't.
bonus action and just disengage and just kind of step back and clean the sword and sheath it in one movement.
Okay, so we will disengage from combat.
Actually, no, I'm gonna step him back over by my buddy who stood by me with the Silver Surfer.
Oh, by the way, as the fight is finishing, the stick of dynamite is still on the floor, right? And it's getting closer and closer to ending, and then eventually it ends, and the
Before
little
it
stick of
ends,
dynamite just disappears.
Mazdog and Darvo are gonna look down, and Darvo says, "We've disengaged. We're no longer fighting. Pick up that stick before you sink the whole boat."
I was like, no, just watch.
They
It's just rolling across the floor.
they begin to back up, and so does the bard, who's like, "Are you sure this is a good decision?"
Trust me, I'm a wizard.
It just explodes.
Oh shit! I forgot
didn't you?
I cast
Yen-
conjure actual object.
Yeah, and Yenfir's like, didn't you just mention failed spells earlier?
That was in the past, I hope.
Hold on, as before it ends, I'm gonna walk over and pick it up, and using my magical tinkering, the first bullet there, I'm gonna start making it shed bright light in a 5-foot radius, and so it starts to glow, looking like it's about to explode. And I just, oh god, it's really gonna blow, and I throw it at the orc over there.
Okay, you throw a Mazdog. He goes, "Oh!" And it hits
Disappears.
it hits his chest, and he gets it hits its chest, and the light goes out. The fuse goes out, and it's just smoke, and it cobbles down to the floor, and he's just breathing heavily. Would the stick of dynamite still be there, or would you like poof it out of
Nah.
existence?
Yeah, I'll just poof it out, and then I'll just say, my friend, it was all but a minor conjuration.
And that's the
But
show.
But
Stop dancing.
So Mazdog looks at the silver server dancing as he seems to be insulted, but he definitely has his tail between his legs, as just this pool of blood is forming in his feet, below his feet, and he looks
And
to
a yellow pool.
Yeah, exactly. And he looks to his companions and he says, "Let's get out of here." And he looks to all of you with just like a last vengeant glare as they disappear down the hallway.
Don't forget to disinfect that wound.
Yeah. All right, so they're gone. As they go down the hall, they go like past the hall that you guys entered in, where you do know there is the stairs going downward towards like the cattle, and they seem to head down that way. And the bard is just breathing super heavily. Is Silver Surfer still there dancing on the table?
Yes.
Okay. uh, it's like
Don't want to let that
Omicron.
spell go to waste.
Yeah.
No, I will say the Silver Sulfur. Ah, God damn it! The Silver Surfer will actually jump, and he will start floating in the air, and he will pretend that he's swimming in the air.
Okay.
I'm
So
just gonna turn to Marcus and just be like, that was very funny.
So the
Why? Thank you.
Dragonborn, breathing heavily, hands on his knees. Uh, he catches his breath, and he walks towards you guys, sort of stumbling, and he offers a hand out to all of you, and says, "That was quite the performance. My name is Wallace. It is great to be in good company." And you can see as he reaches his hand out, it's the hand that he'd been strumming with, and you notice he only has 3 fingers on it. The other 2 seem to have been like cut off and are stumps now.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you by our side.
I'm glad that I could have helped out in any way I can. Now I am down a loot, and it was very expensive, but I'm glad that I had stopped them in their tracks just briefly enough for you all to do what you did here.
Yakiru will pull some gold from his pocket. I'm gonna guess that like a good loot is like 10 gold. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
that's
have
a
no
good
idea.
guess.
He's never played music. And he's just gonna open his hand and sort of offer them to the bard and say, I'm grateful for your act of defense.
3-fingered Wallace over here. He puts his hand out and waves it away, and he says, "Oh, do not worry. Me and my family are very well off. I can buy a new one. My funds are pretty much unlimited."
Well,
Morvi in the corner there will say, "Jeez, that was fun to watch. A honey mead on the house for all of you." And he starts brewing it up.
Well, that
Yakiru
is quite a
will
reward that I don't mind having.
Yakiru will in turn shake everyone's hand and repeatedly and incredibly formally introduce himself and just
Okay.
go, Yakiru Hirabayashi. Yakiru Hirabayashi. Yakiru Hirabayashi.
So Wallace, is like, "Now that we're all safe after that encounter, you mind if I sit down next to you and we acquaint ourselves with one another?"
I give him my chair.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
I think you've deserved it.
Well, very, if I will not accept the gold, but I will accept, you offering me your seat. That is quite kind of you. Would anyone else have anything to say in the middle of this, as he sort of offers to sort of sit down and conversate with all of you, saving his life, most likely?
I'll motion to the cards over at the table and say, everyone in for a game.
Wallace would then raise his finger and say, "You know what? As you mentioned that, me being the entertainer that I am, I have a unique game from my homeland in mind. Perhaps we will play a little Cookie Crumbles. Have you ever heard of it?"
I've played Candy Crush, but never Cookie Crumble.
We'll take Mozdog's share, because fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck his hand.
I tuck his arm, I'll take his chair.
Take his legs, if I ever see him again.
So
I
Wallace is
like this.
gonna. Oh, you're gonna sit, and you offered Wallace your chair. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Who is willing to participate in this game of Cookie Crumbles? It is a dear favorite of mine.
I never played before, and I wouldn't mind playing it for the first time.
I'll hold on to my gold thing, but I'm happy to watch.
What would Hawk say? You there, Lucas?
Yep, sorry, on mute.
You're good.
I'd rather gamble with the amount of booze I can drink.
We can gamble for each other's ale. If one of us, for those of us who do not have enough gold, the winner may take their very sweet honey mead. Are you willing
That
to
seems.
offer up your honey mead for the game?
I
Yeah,
am
Kiru's
feeling
never had
pretty
honey meat,
confident.
so he's okay with that.
Okay.
That's a wager I could take.
He is going to offer up gold. He says, "Well, I do wish to reward you for your services here. Perhaps you can win my reward, though. I will offer you 20 gold total to divide amongst yourselves, but only if you win against me."
Sounds like fun.
Sounds
So,
like a deal.
let me go ahead and show you guys. It's a very simple game. It should go pretty fast. I made sure that I found one that was not super intensive. So here is the rules. Cookie crumbles. Each player rolls 4d6, keeps their dice hidden. Then each player picks one of the 4 dice rolled and reveals it to the rest of the table. Each player paces bets clockwise before revealing their 3 hidden dice. The player with the highest total wins.
Is
So
this a multi-round thing like poker,
we can
or
do 1 round if you guys want, or multiple. Would you guys want to do 1 round or like best 2 out of 3 kind of thing?
I mean,
2 out of 3.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that
two
sounds
out of
pretty
three.
pretty fun game.
No
So
dice
so
for me.
he's gonna reveal like translucent um like marble dice. You know, it's got like the like the waving gray and white patterns in it, and it's got like almost crystalline like blue fragments in the middle of it. So it's just very beautiful set of dice. And he's gonna go, "I roll first," and he's gonna sort of hide his roll and then scoop him up and remember his number. All right. So did everybody roll?
Yep.
Would
Wait.
I'm gonna guess that I wouldn't
Yeah.
have been able to see his roll. No.
No, yeah, none of you guys would be able to see each other's rolls. Just out of courtesy, everybody doesn't look, kind of thing. So who was all participating? Was it everybody but Yifir, pretty much? Yinfir?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
All right. Is everybody ready to reveal one random, or not random, but one of their dice?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and write down your name like I'm doing here. Wallace is going to reveal a 6. Okay. So Wallace would say, "As I have promised, I will offer in a set amount, 20 gold, no matter what my roll was." And he puts it on the table in a sack of gold. "What is it the rest of you offer?"
Hmm.
So I have a look at my inventory.
Yeah, sure. If you want to offer gold, or if you want to offer an item,
I'll put one of my daggers on the table. I've got a spare dagger.
sounds good. So Wallace offers 20 gold. Yakiru, a dagger. I'll go ahead and write it down and then post it. Everybody else, what's Marcus offer?
I'll also offer. I don't really. A dagger. I'll also offer a dagger.
And Hawk? Were you doing the ale, or were you doing something else? I think if you offer the ale, Wallace would say, "Oh, let's go ahead and up the stakes a little bit from your ale. Have any interesting items in your possession?"
Well, I believe I could scrounge up something that might interest you, and using my magical tinkering again, I will touch the top of one of my torches. So it is now a magically glowing torch of 5 feet bright light and an additional 5 feet of dim light that never goes out.
Ah, very nice indeed. All right. So these are the items that one player will win. Are we ready to reveal our total? Let's just go clockwise. Hawk, you first. Ooh.
Hmm.
Ikaru? Whoa, Marcus.
Oh my god.
No shit. So he's the first to lose. Let's, it looks like and we'll do one round. It looks like the three of you must re-roll to win this total. How interesting of a result. So you guys can go ahead and re-roll amongst each other, and then once again, we'll do clockwise. Hakukiru, Marcus, reveal one of your dice. 46. Anyone else wanting to put anything else in, or are we keeping our first bets on the table?
The first bet, that's about all I can manage at this point. Maybe once we get to the island, I can find some more. But
Very well.
I'll
Let
look
us
at
see
Hawk and
who
say,
won.
if you can bet more, I'll give you my mead.
You look to Hawk and say that?
Yeah.
Hawk likes the mead, from what I remember.
I do. But for now, as much as I would like to take you of your mead, boy, this is all I can scrounge up at the moment.
Well then, let us go ahead and reveal our results. Oh shit.
Damn.
Damn, son.
Oh, it looks as if Hawk is the winner. Very good. Congratulations to you. And he passes over his 20 gold. And then
Nice,
yeah,
nice gaming with you boys.
very much so. Now let us get to brass tacks. As I have said, my name is Wallace. My friends do indeed call me Three Finger Wallace, and he shows his fingers once more. And he says to you guys, I myself am a traveling musician. I have wanted to get away from the stuffy concerts and greedy bureaucrats of Waterdeep, which is my hometown. I have already bought a house in Newater, as it is, and for all of you saving me here, I offer you to stay at my home while you look for work. If you accept this, I will make sure you have a map to get to my home, and you are free to wander the streets until you are ready. Now, I will remind you that this is not permanent housing. I do enjoy living alone, but just to get yourselves off your feet, I am willing to offer you my home for the night.
Oh, that is very generous of you. I am in need of a place to stay tonight, so I wouldn't mind taking up that offer.
Well, it would be tomorrow night. We do have until morning to arrive.
I would bow graciously and say, we are in your debt. Thank you.
Well, thank you very kindly for saying so. It, the notion is mutual. It is a very nice, cozy home. As I have said, I come from a wealthy family, which I do wish to strip myself from the bonds of, but for now it is nice to have the money. Do all of you accept this?
I'd be happy to stay. Thank you.
But of
I'll
course.
take it.
Yeah, sure thing.
All right. So it is set then. We will all meet at the docks of Waterdeep, and as I have said, you may adventure and find your way around the city as you wish. Try to find some work, try to find some proper pay, but as I have said, we will spend one night in good old Three Finger Wallace's home. And he would scoot himself up from his chair, give you all a courteous nod, and say, well, I am quite exhausted from the ruckus. I will retire to my quarters for the night, and see you all in the morning.
Wait, did you say the docks of Waterdeep? Aren't we headed
The
to
docks
Darnen?
of Newater.
Okay.
Sorry, they're both similar, obviously. But yes, Newater is the port town we're going to. Would any of you guys, before you leave, sort of have questions about where we're going?
No, but I'm gonna turn to Hawk and I'm gonna give him my mead in return for the dagger that I lost.
Yeah, I've got no use for this thing. Take it back.
All right, I give him the mead.
Well, I hope you all have a uneventful evening. And he would depart with his coat, his royal blue coat tails waving in the back as he departs. And it is now past midnight, as Morvi also says, "Oh, I'm getting tired myself," and he fucks off past that door.
I will turn to Marcus and say, what more can you tell me of these magics that you know?
Well, many things. Many things that I would be very happy to show you. And this actually just happens to be one of them. And from my robes comes out this tiny little lizard that is
Yes.
completely white, and I just show it to you. This is my little friend. I call him Iggy.
Aw. Sort of cocks his little head back and forth. He's got like pink albino eyes and,
Hmm.
just sort of croaks a little bit.
I actually conjured him from one of my experiments. He's technically Fey, from the Feywild.
I lean in like slightly, but not too much, and just go, "Hello, Iggy," and then just kind of sit back.
Iggy just looks at you with his red eyes. He kind of turns his head a little bit. It's like,
All
You
right.
just hear him go.
Reptiles do tend to make little tiny laugh sounds. Would you guys then retire for the evening, and we'll take a little break? Is
Sure.
that cool, you guys?
yep.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'll have to get back to that horrible bed, but oh well.
Uh-huh.
Silver
I
I
think
better try
Surfer,
to get some of my
you're
sleep.
clear from your duties.
as he lets off one like leprechaun tap dance and disappears. All right. So I think that was a pretty fucking hilarious encounter. I did not at all expect it to go that way, but you never fucking know what's gonna happen. That's
That
probably the
part just
fucking
went ham.
best it could have gone. Yeah,
I
that was
didn't think
cool.
minor illusion would come into clutch that early. I just took it because I thought it might be fun sometimes.
Just
So
came out of
glad you
So
nowhere.
took
there you
it.
go.
So,
It goes so well with minor conjuration.
Yeah.
so I will say from that encounter, you're gonna earn the experience of the thugs that scared off. So there were four of them, so you guys are gonna each earn 400 XP from that.
400?
Yes,
400
Is that
XP.
each or split?
each.
Okay.
Split. I've learned from the last campaign that split is fucked. But
We
yeah.
know what Gandalf did in Fellowship, and we know exactly why he stayed behind to fight the Balrog. Split
Whoops.
doesn't work.
It does not.
Sorry.
So let
You wasted
me.
your 20.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh, sweet, I'm level 20 already.
So, you guys are level 3, so you need 2700 XP to level up. So you
Awesome.
now need 2300 XP to level up if you guys want to put that in your notes. Morning comes. You guys see, the light of the morning sun, sort of peering through the small portholes, uh, in your rooms, and you feel the heat of the sun on you. Um, you guys are able to take, a few minutes to gather your bearings, but pretty soon, very early in the morning, we start hearing the muffled but loud gong of like a ship's bell from above us on the upper level. It's not the dock, but the outside floor of the ship. I forgot what it's called. Um, but yeah, so everybody wakes up. We
Deck.
can, yeah, the deck. So so
It's
anyway,
close.
yeah, yeah. We can hear sailors just like walking back and forth in heavy boots across the ship, and they're yelling, trying to get everybody to wake up. They're knocking on everybody's doors and pretty much saying, "Everyone off the ship. The port of New Water approaches." So pretty much you guys can, gather your things and head out, and if you were to do so, we would see civilians and adventurers alike of all races carrying like bags and packs and cases with them, all like single file heading out while this loud gong continues to ring. As we feel the ship stop, we can hear ropes being tossed over and anchors to get it to stay on shore. Uh, and we can go ahead and go back to the entrance where a large door creaks open made of thick wood. And before us, we see a bustling dock, and we smell, the smell of chimney smoke as well as salty sea air. So let me go ahead and play our dock ambiance. Just 1 second. Mm, there we go. Obviously, adjust is needed. All right. So for the first time, we have fresh air. We are no longer below a musty ship. And as you guys sort of look out and gaze out together, as you guys, um, found each other, you would see Three-Fingered Wallace um, shuffling and bumping his way through the crowd to get to you. And he waves at you guys to try to get you guys' attention and tries to push through the crowd to get to you guys. Um, when eventually he does reach you, uh, and he hands you guys a map real quick, and he says, "It's getting too crowded for me here. Make sure you find your way to my home later today. Go ahead and make yourselves known throughout this city. But it's time for me to head off. I'll see you soon." And he rushes off the docks.
It's early morning, correct?
Yeah, it's like 5 a.m. The clouds are still like pink. There's a little bit of a breeze from, the ocean air coming towards you guys. What would you guys immediately like discuss with each other as you are now pretty much a group? What's the
Food?
plan?
Food.
Food sounds good.
Food sounds good, yes. I could use some.
Okay, so you guys want to go
We've
ahead
already
and
got
head to a
lodging, so
tavern?
food sounds best.
All right, so the plan's to go to a tavern and get some food. So you
Are,
guys go ahead.
are there any sort of, not exactly sushi, but any like seafood stalls that are serving freshly cooked fish along the waterfront? Or
Yeah, you would definitely see a bunch of tents set up of, traders and merchants, and they're feeding the civilians as they head out. You could tell these guys are earning big cash, and this might be like something that they can make a living off of. Just all the civilians and tourists and visitors coming onto the docks at Newater, just totally scrounging up all this hot food and cooked fish and pheasant and peasant if one of them
And
happened to be
peasant.
a cannibal.
If
I mean, none of us are lizard folk,
one of
but
them
hey,
doesn't
you
pay
never
their
know.
taxes,
Yeah,
you know what happens
exactly.
to them.
There's no suas. Just kidding. Um, but yeah, you
Would
can
I
go ahead and head down if you want.
would I recognize any of the tents as being one from my homeland? For like the style of food, like seeing like a Japanese restaurant down the street, or do they all just kind of look nondescript?
I would say go. You can. I won't have your perception to give you a non-answer. But yeah, you definitely probably wouldn't recognize. It seems your race, your homeland specifically, is few and far between. You're probably not going to find a lot of them here. You'd have to do some intense searching.
I'll just look for whatever's closest to my home food.
Okay. So yeah, you see some sushi. Well, not sushi. You definitely see some oceanic, exotic, deep water fish. Very large, crisp, cooked steam emanating off of them. And you can go ahead and go over there. Would you sort of direct the rest of your companions and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go over here," or what?
I'd wave them on in, and I'd sort of, I don't know. There's like four of us, so I can't imagine that'd be too expensive for food, and we've got lodging for the night.
Yeah.
So I'll just take out like what I would guess to be like a small pouch that would hold maybe like 4 gold or
Okay.
something. And I don't know. I take it there's like how many people standing behind the counter in this tent?
Oh, geez. I'd say like, actually probably not a lot. I'd say like 6.
All right, I'll just approach whoever seems like they're in charge, and just say,
Okay.
how much for food for 4 people?
It would be a tabaxi female. Very simple clothes. She'd have like, uh, red vest on that's just like almost like shoelaces tied together, and like a simple white shirt beneath it, and simple stitched together pants. Um, as you head over there, it seems these guys are like fucking. This is like movie theater carnival. Like they're really taking advantage of this. And she would say, per fish here would be 3 gold for these fine specimens.
It would seem I've lost my appetite, and I will just walk out of the tent and leave everyone with me.
Oh, wait. But her voice would die
I,
down.
I'd stop as she said, "Wait."
Okay. She said, I'll give you a deal since not very many are coming as I wish they would. I'll give you two fish for 3 gold. A small offer.
2.5.
Mmm, you make a fine bargain. All right, I'll cut up half of one for you, but the head side. And she goes ahead and carves one up for you. Are you guys all with, um, are you guys all with Yukiru?
I am.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you guys all roll perception?
Getting fish for the
Sure.
boy. Would I have it with my natural perception or
I'm gonna do roll perception this time, because it's a big crowd.
perception?
And I am particularly
Ooh!
looking around at the other
Is it-
stalls. Anybody that's selling either live animals, trapped animals, captured and dead, because I am interested in the animal parts,
I
and
would
especially
say
any animals that I
Oh.
may not have seen.
God.
there's a fat, sweaty, balding human, with sideburns, and a simple like hide vest with his stomach showing off of a white greasy shirt that's also covered in like dried blood, and he's got small like rusted cages of like chicken that are just flopping about and squawking on his wooden desk that he's got in front of his tent. But as you look over there, Hawk specifically notices something out of the corner of his eye. In a shadowy tent, sort of near an alleyway of 2 simple cottages, you would see a familiar figure. You would see just sort of tucked into this shadowy corner of the dock, heading closer into the city, is Mazdog with bandages around his bloody arm. And let me go ahead. Do you guys remember the other guy's name? I can go ahead and
Darvo?
double.
Nope.
Dargo? Was it a D?
Darvo?
Darvo.
It sounds
Thank
about
you.
right.
Darvel.
Yeah,
I
it's
should
Darvo.
award you experience for that, but I won't.
Damn it.
So,
I take it back. His name's not Darvo. It's
so,
Bill.
so Hawk, you notice um, Darvo and Mazdog um, in this sort of shady corner. And you would see they are talking with 2 figures wearing black doublets. Do you guys know what those kind of clothes are?
Yeah.
I can search now.
So doublets are like, you know, um, like Patriot,
Yeah.
sailor trench coats with like
Yeah, I see.
the open collar and the
All
buttons and all
right.
that
Yep,
stuff.
I see.
So there's these
Three
2.
Musketeers kind of stuff.
Right, exactly. And they're wearing tricorns as well, which is also like, the, you know, sailor kind of fancier hat. And they have rapiers at their sides and large leather boots. But yeah, you can see they're like discussing something um, in this in this shadow alley with
Nice,
Darvo.
nice corny you got there.
Yeah, with Darvo and Mazdog, and there seems to be an exchange of gold as Mazdog and Darvo's eyes follow somebody in the crowd. Um, and if you were to look to see where his eyes are following with your perception, you could tell that they are tracking Three-Fingered Wallace as he enters the crowd, as he leaves into the crowd. And an exchange of gold has happened between these four figures.
Suddenly, I feel like we should stick by him.
I'd take my fish to go.
You don't know what's happening yet. You guys are still hanging out.
What's
Hawk
happened
would,
with the fish?
yeah. The fish smells really fucking good. You can tell this is high quality fish. But yeah, Hawk. So you see this like fat butcher with a bunch of chickens in cages. Um, and he greets you and says, and he's got like missing teeth. And he says, "Good morning. May I interest you in some fine chicken?"
I believe I'm had my fill on chicken for the time being, but these look like fine, well-raised chickens, and I'd be happy to come back and feast on some at a later point. I just saw someone that I hadn't seen in a long time, so if you'll excuse me, I'm sorry, I must be going.
He furrows
And
his eyebrows and peers at you and, off with you then. Don't waste my time.
that's why I'm leaving, jackass. And then head back to the group. And excuse me, boys. I feel we might be wanting to keep a close eye on our three-fingered friend. The
Wallace.
yeah,
Dragonborn
the gentleman that we had a bit of a scuffle with on board the boat. They seem to be wanting to wish him some harm, and we've got a. Wallace was kind enough to provide us with a bed tonight, so I believe we should be making sure he is alive at nighttime to give us that bed.
It
And
is
you would
only
be able to
fair.
see they are still at that alleyway whispering amongst each other. They haven't left yet.
Okay. Then at this point, I will point over in that direction as well, and let everybody know what I've seen and where they are.
Okay, and you
I
guys
will.
all see these two rough figures with doublets and tricorns, as well as the familiar
I'll
Can
take
Darvo
I?
my
and
fish to
Mazdog.
go.
Can I ask you gentlemen to kindly hold me, please?
What?
I will
Trust
take
me.
him in my arms,
Thank you
Incredible.
very much. I
but
will
in a
take
slightly formal
Iggy.
manner.
Thank you. I will take Iggy and I will say, Iggy, go track those men.
Ooh.
And I
Oh,
will
yes.
use my action. Where is it?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yep. I will use my action to see through my familiar's eyes and hear what they can say. But while I'm seeing through my familiar's eyes and hearing through their ears, I cannot see or hear around myself.
Oh, wow.
I'll put my arm through his, like, sort of linked elbows, like I'm helping an old man walk.
Okay.
Alright,
So
I'll grab his other arm then.
Okay, cool. You guys can do some panhandling with this. Follow your opponents and say you've got a blind friend. Pretty cool. But so yeah, so you do see now that Mazdog and Darvo are now dispersing into the crowd. Mazdog and Darvo go one direction, and the two doublet wearing, tricorn wearing, rapier wielding, rough figures go in the other direction. One is a clean shaven face, and the other um, has sideburns. And they both disperse. The doublet-wearing figures disperse into the dark alleyway, and Mazdog and Darvo sort of disappear into the crowd. Who is Iggy following?
Um, they're dispersing the crowd. We can follow the. I think we can follow the other guy. So, one thing though, I can only use my action if my familiar is within 100 feet of me.
Okay,
So I'll use Iggy to follow Mazdov and
Darvo, yeah.
Darvo, and yeah, and I think we should follow the other guys.
Okay.
Oof.
Holy
Hello?
fuck.
Guys, did
I
you
was,
hear me?
yeah,
Yeah,
Guys?
I was,
I
All
hear
right.
you.
fucking, I was
Yeah,
gonna say
fucking
before we
you.
go further, can we all, now that he's pointed them out, can we all see them?
Yeah, but you do see them start to disperse into the crowd, so you might lose sight of them.
And we're all aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah.
I will motion
Go
to,
ahead.
sorry, what was that?
I was gonna say in the corner, if you were to look at the map, the red box shows where you are, and then I'm also gonna show you where let's see, where Wallace's home is. Oh fuck, it's a triangle. And then whatever direction you guys go in to follow them, I'll show you where they're heading. I'm actually gonna have Wallace's house over here.
I'll turn to, Yinfir, and I'll motion towards, Marcus to sort of like take his arm, and I'll try and do it. Am I able to like stealth in a crowd and just sort of try and
Oh
pass?
yeah, advantage. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
I'm
do
gonna try and
advantage.
stealth. I'm gonna pull up the balaclava and just kind of lower my head, pull up the hood, just kind of keep an eye and keep sort of, I'd say, 10 feet back from
Darvo and
from.
Mouse they're not walking with each other. Who are you following?
Oh no, I'm going towards Wallace.
Oh,
Uh,
Wallace. Okay.
I'm gonna keep like 10 feet back, 15 feet back from him,
Wait, so
and just
who's
kind of
dragging me?
keep concealed in the crowd.
Uh,
Um,
myself and Hawk.
Oh, okay, thank you.
and yeah, I'm just gonna try and stealth that. Is that with advantage?
Yeah, advantage. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, 15. You're good. Nobody really notices you. You just kind of blend into the crowd. And if you were to follow him all the way, is anyone else following you, or what's everybody else doing?
I'm just holding my action in case he gets attacked or apprehended. I'm basically just gonna pop up beside him and be like, "Yo, what you doing?"
Okay. So I'd say you make it that far. Is anyone else following, or are you guys going doing something
I
else?
am literally blind and deaf, so I'm just going where the others drag me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we should be going. I figure probably following Wallace because if uh if these guys are after him, we should probably stay close by him
Okay. Do you
in
guys
case
want to
something
roll
happens.
stealth then if you're following Wallace?
I mean,
If we,
Iggy's
Yeah.
following the other guys, so you could easily drag
I don't think
Marcus
we have
with
to
you.
stealth, do we?
I don't care if
No,
Wallace
we're
knows
just
I'm there.
walking.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Don't stealth then. That's cool.
Just in question, does Iggy or do I see anything interesting through Iggy?
You said it only goes 100 feet.
Yeah.
They would be walking farther than that. They're heading towards like this this like shanty town over here. Chicken Stair. Like they're going out of the gates.
Then my connection terminates, and I'm like, damn it, they went too far.
Hmm.
Where are we going again?
Because
I
they couldn't hear you guys.
um I could follow them. I don't know if I really want to, but
Right
I
now, I
do
think
have Hunter's Mark,
Hmm.
so I could follow them really easily.
Okay. What do you want to
I
do?
don't know if I
so.
want. I don't know if I want. Well, I don't know. I feel like we should probably just stick
By
um
Wallace?
by Wallace. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
I'll
you guys
stick
all
by
pretty
you
much
guys then.
like, do you make yourselves known to him and group around him?
I would be. I'd walk up to him. Wallace!
Oh, is it coming back to me already? Aren't you going to look for work around here?
Well, yeah, sure, but we figured it would be best to, get a lay of the land and especially see where we'll be staying tonight and kind of branch out from there. This is a new place to me and all. It
Right.
best idea to have some location known that I can return to.
Oh, I apologize. Mind my manners. Of course, you've never been here before. I should at least tell you where things are. Sure, come on over to my place, and I'll let you know everything at the door as you accompany me. It is very graciously appreciated. So we go ahead and follow Wallace, and we find our way to his front door, to where he, pulls out a skeleton key, and he, points the direction of things to you guys, and he says, "If you're all looking for a drink, the best tavern, the most popular tavern in Newater, is the Majesty Inn, and that can be found in Smuggler's Wood. It is a little bit more dodgy of a location, but you all seem to be able to handle yourselves quite well. In the West District is where you'll find the notice board for this area of New Water, if you like. And then in the District as well, uh, the uh, you can find the Broken Vial, I believe it's called, as well as, well, what was that? What was that blacksmith shop called? Ah, the Tilted Anvil. They both can be found in the West District if you desire.
Excuse me, Wallace, but you wouldn't
Yes.
know if there are any nice libraries around here.
Ah, yes, we do have a very good one that Governor Moss himself had funded. It is called Solitude Library, and it is very close to Moss Manor indeed. It is also in the West District, as that is sort of our most popular location here. It is the largest building and the closest building to Moss Manor.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Of
Where
This will
was
course.
it
be
you said the
very
blacksmiths
handy.
were?
The everything is pretty much located in the West District. So I'll go
Okay.
ahead and just sort of give you guys a little layout of that. There you go.
I'll
Oh, and then as well, the most popular tavern in the region is located in Smuggler's Wood, so that's gonna be over there.
I'll just turn to him and say, Moss Manor, that is where the mayor is?
That
The
is where
Lord
the
of your town?
governor is. He
Governor.
is a former politician from Waterdeep. Came here to earn a new living. Interesting, very odd gentleman. Very quiet.
Never heard of the man before.
Do you want to roll? Who's native to Waterdeep?
I'm
Anyone?
not.
Nope.
No.
Okay, never mind then. If you guys were native, I would have you roll to see if you knew who he was, but I guess not. He stationed here about 6 years ago, uh, making up for the previous governor who met an untimely end.
An untimely end, you say?
Yes.
How tragic. How
It
come?
was all right. He wasn't the greatest governor. Um, he had many enemies. Let's just say that.
Purely a
Ah,
coincidence, I'm sure.
Purely a coincidence, yes. I think you understand the type of city this is now. It is best to keep your mindset that way.
hmm. Seems like this won't be just roses and paradise. Oh
No,
well, wouldn't be fun if it wasn't.
although this is, very respected for being a melting pot, being very cultural and lively, it is definitely one of the more seedy regions of Darnen. But I do find it home for myself. I do like a challenge and a danger to my life.
I
Now
forgot
that's
to say
something
just
we
that,
can agree in.
just sorry, I did eventually come to live in Waterdeep before I
Okay.
went to Darnen. That was the last place that I lived for like 30 years.
Oh shit. Okay. You go ahead and roll history then if you ever heard of Governor Moss.
Elves, we get around. History. 1. Oh, 17.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
So you would know his first name as well. Let me go ahead and give you that information.
Probably older than him.
Let's see. You know his name is Solomon Moss. You
What was
would
that?
know
Solomon
Solomon Moss,
Moss.
spelled exactly as, the regular words. You would know he was not a very popular governor in Waterdeep. He definitely has skeletons in his closet. I wouldn't call him exactly a corrupt politician, but he definitely knows his way around the political system.
What race is he?
Human. I'd
Oh,
say
I'm definitely
he's
older than him.
in his late 30s.
Oh shit, way older than him.
Yeah.
I'm like over 70 years older than him. Okay,
Bit of a
alright,
dodgy fellow.
so we probably never would have met, but I would have known exactly who he was. Okay,
Yeah, there'd be rumors about him and people talking shit about him and
sweet.
that kind of thing. But yeah, so we know where the tavern is. We've got location for magic shop as well as a smithy, as well as we know where the notice board is if we were looking for work. Um, and you guys escorted Wallace to his home safely. It does not seem that Darvo or Mazdog followed him.
Hmm.
Uh,
Seems familiar. This seems very suspicious.
So
Money was exchanged.
once we are inside the building, I want to, and away from possible listening ears, I want to turn to Wallace and let him know. So, the real reason, and forgive my
Or are you guys asking to come
deception
inside?
earlier.
Because he pretty much stops you guys at the door, but, were you wanting to talk with him inside pretty much?
Oh, I was, yeah. I was gonna wait and tell him
Okay.
that when we were inside his building.
Okay, sure. So he'd be like, well, if you want to stay for a brief moment, we can all go inside. So let me go ahead and show you guys that portion of the map.
once we go in, I'm just gonna turn to him and say, if it would give you some peace of mind, I might check your house to make it, it's secure for you.
So he opens the door and he welcomes you to his home and says, "Oh, but yet, yes, of course you can. Uh, Welcome to my home. It was given to me by my family, although begrudgingly they didn't like me seeing me leave my job in Waterdeep. But whatever, you may grab whatever sweets or beverages that you like off my table. I have warmed this place with a good fire, and I've got quite a good amount of books that are popular to us in this region. But go ahead. If you want to speak, I'll be at my table." And he just he ruffles around first in like one of his barrels to find another lute, and he begins playing it with his 3 fingers.
I'll take off my boots before I go in and like put them just inside the door, and then I'm gonna go and check every single window, door, and fucking roof pane, and make sure that they are all like tightly damn locked, that there ain't no little assassin getting in.
Okay. Were you wanting to sort of get a scouting of like if there's anything behind the windows, like outside or anything like that?
Yeah, just to make sure like no one's waiting to come in, or no one's unlocked anything, or no one's like setting up to just go in and kill him in his sleep kind of thing.
Sure. I would say first of all the windows are unlocked.
Okay,
Uh,
they're all getting locked.
okay. So Wallace would hear you lock the windows and say, "What's something seems to be on your mind. You all seem a bit tense. What is it that you're locking all my windows for? I prefer the breeze of the fresh air."
I'll just turn to Hawk and say, you can better explain this. And I'll just continue to go about locking the windows and not barring them, but just making sure that, like I said, there ain't no one gonna crawl in.
Yeah, he stops playing in sort of curiosity and worry a little bit.
Right. So, you remember the gentleman we had a bit of fisticuffs with back on the Guinevere.
Why, how could I forget?
Well, we saw. I happened to see when we were kind of wandering through the crowds at the docks. Our friend there seemed to be meeting with a couple of gentlemen who wearing some doublets and special triangle hats
I
and
see.
long needle swords and exchanging of coin purses and pointing at you. And after our little uh, scuffle there, I believe that they may have ill intentions for your continued health.
He would sort of think there for a second, gears turning, and say, "Well, I did only see them aboard the Guinevere recently. You see, initially I got my work from patrolling back and forth from Waterdeep to Newater, entertaining the guests. They seem to be sort of seedy folk, and perhaps they aren't just the sailors they claim to be. I worry if they have any other ill intentions um, for that boat, or if they were even sailors at all." "But you said they followed me?"
Not followed exactly. They seemed to be heading away, but we had worried that they would.
Hmm. Well, I will keep an eye open, I assure you, but I am not fearful or a coward. I will defend myself if needed.
Well, you do have another loot.
I do have another loot, yes. This one even stronger than the last. Perhaps I could knock one out with it right proper. And he
How old
chuckles
does he
to
think to
himself.
be?
Um, Do you want to roll nature if you understand sort of dragonborn, age and biology kind of thing?
Sure. I know everything.
Nice. So Dragonborn,
Apparently.
Dragonborn live pretty much exactly the same as humans, but they mature much faster. So they reach like full maturity at 15. He seems to be like 24, about like mid 20s, but like the maturity of like a middle-aged or like late 30-year-old man because they develop at 15
This
mentally.
dude's like a young granddad ready to kick ass with his
Pretty
fucking backhoe.
much,
I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Very mild-mannered but spunky lad. And he says, "Well, as I have said, I will keep an eye out. Thank you for watching for me. I seem to be very lucky coming across all of you. You hold no allegiance to me at all, but yet you wish to see that I'm safe. It is very much appreciated. I will
Well,
give
it's the
you
least we
three
can do after
days."
what you've done for us.
"Well, thank you. I'm very glad to hear so, but as I was going to say, I'll give you 3 days. Now, much like my father, I'm very much all for people living off their own bread. So I'll give you 3 days, but I do not want to encourage my home being a permanent residence. Just an extension."
Obviously. Well, of course, we're not planning on living here forever, with all due respect.
"Of course, of course. I see you are as interested in adventure as I am. But now, shoo. Go off into the world. Do not stay here in this stuffy home with me. I'm perfectly capable of watching after myself."
Looks like we just adopted a granddad.
Yep. Well,
Go
Wallace,
out
may the
into the
gods bless
world.
you.
Of course. I
Stay safe, my friend.
I look forward to seeing my friends again tonight.
Of course.
Thank you again.
As we leave, I'd like to turn to Hawk, and I'm going to take out the dagger that I was going to give him earlier,
Okay.
and I'm going to say, is there something you might be able to do? I've noticed with your craft. Would you be able to maybe make this hit harder or be more accurate a weapon? Something you can do with it?
That is within the realm of possibility, but unfortunately, right now I'm limited to the number of objects I can bestow upon certain magical enchantments. I'm still honing my craft and in how it interacts with what the wizard wizard types call the I believe the arcane weave,
Yep.
and so I can do that, but I might. I would only be able to do right now. My maximum number of objects I can touch and make better are limited to 2. But that is one of my within the realm of my capabilities. But uh, so I believe it would be best to wait on that until maybe a day when we know that we're going to be getting into some some
Some nasty encounters, if I do say so myself.
yes, right, exactly.
I just nod and say, I look forward to it.
All right. Do you do as Wallace declares and go off into the world to make your own way?
I'm gonna go and find Moss Manor. We'll go look for it.
Ooh, okay.
Anyone coming with?
I'm going to the library
Okay.
Awesome.
because I'm a wizard and I'm a nerd.
Book boy.
That's how you become a wizard.
So
Yep.
Yep,
what I would
read
like to
book.
do, because I'm not super, like I don't want four different things happening, uh, we'll all go together and pretty much like decide what place you want to go first. Because separating the party
I'm
takes
happy
a
to go to
lot
the
of time.
library first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Library?
I'd appreciate it if you
Sure.
could stop there first.
Okay.
Ooh, I can pick up some ink.
Okay, cool. So on your way there, let me go ahead, since we're back on this regular map, I'll get rid of where we were. So we're at Wallace's house right now, and we are going to head this way. So immediately before we head to the library, we are going to come across the plaza, which is that open area there, at least a smaller part of the plaza. And we see a few like stone statues of what looks to be political figures, very high and mighty, wealthy type. A lot of people around the area just circulating, doing some trading, merchant work. In addition to that, we do see a large wooden board that is fancily made with like a sort of triangular roof-looking structure, like a sort of strip mall kind of design. And it does have a large like poster board painted on it, so it's white in the center, and then there are like a bunch of nailed in like papyrus like paper with writing on them. So you can assume that this is the famed large notice board of people looking for help with jobs. Were you guys wanting to take a look at that before on our way to the library, or head back to check it out afterward?
If there's anything that I catch at a glance, like any bounties or anything,
Sure.
I'll just take that with me rather than read it on the spot.
So you guys head towards the doors. There, it's like sort of gothic. It's made of heavy stone. Um, with stone staircase heading up, they're sort of dusty. It's like a double door, almost like cathedral type doors. This is very fancy. It's very juxtaposed to the rest of the city, because as it was said, Governor Moss did order this to be built himself. So you can see a lot of money got put into it. At the top of the roof is, some sick ass heavy metal looking gargoyles that are watching all corners of it. And it's a very big library with like long cathedral style, like um, stained glass windows. And there are like, robed wealthy figures that look like professors or, cartographers, explorers, stuff like that, that are scholars that are sort of heading in and out of these large double doors. And there are some like um, rough looking guards outside of them. You would see the city guard wandering around. These guys just have like really simple steel helmets. Um, that are like Spanish, like army kind of helmets back in the day, Spanish Inquisition era, and they're sort of like dented, heavily used. They've got a strap on the chin that's like scarring their chin a little bit, and they've just got like studded leather for clothes, and they're wielding you know short swords
On our
guarding
way
this library.
there, I'm gonna keep an eye out, and while we're in there as well, just for the governor.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'll
Gentlemen,
describe I'll describe what he looks like to the rest of the party as well. If they see him, they can point him out.
Okay, so you are not
okay.
in Moss Manor. You are in the library,
I know, but like
directly
he
across.
commissioned it, so
Sounds good. Sounds good. So
I'm
you
gonna.
guys enter in. What were you gonna do? Were you gonna do something before you entered?
No, I'm just gonna enter.
Okay. So you guys enter. It's super serene. You hear nothing but like it's so like noise reverberates around here so much that you can like hear people like sniffing and coughing like bouncing off the walls, as well as like the tip tapping of feet against marble floor, which completely like reflects your image, like super clear, almost like water. Ceilings are really tall. They've got archways. They're made out of like ivory stone. Um, and immediately in front of you, you see some like librarians that are putting like big stacks of books away on like very fancy waxed dark wood tables, and then like super fucking tall bookshelves that require like wheeled ladders to get all the way to the top of them, just going down a long hall.
Yakuru's just getting like sensory overload.
Yeah. And then of course there's like fancy like staircases going up to the second floor that's like marble balcony with other tall, bookshelves on the second floor as well.
My, look at this.
Oh
This is
yeah.
beautiful. This is a wizard's best dream.
Yeah, for
My
real, dude.
dream.
Never seen anything like it.
Neither
Some of the
have I.
tables have like globes of the Faerun on it, um, that have like, the like latch that holds the globe in place to spin it is just like made of gold.
Well, gentlemen, I'm off to do some research, and I'm just gonna go and do my stuff. And right now, I'm just acting like a kid on a candy shop.
Okay. The
Um,
librarians pay you no mind. They're just putting their large stacks of books away. It probably takes them hours and hours to do this. Go ahead.
so what I'm specifically trying to look is I'm trying to look for books that talk about the early discovery of this island
Cool.
and maybe anything that might have led to the creation of these factions. And
Sure.
secondly, I'm trying to look for any books that may talk about any sort of maybe magical locations in the island or some
Awesome.
supernatural creatures that have never been seen before.
Yeah, that's a good amount of information you could get. So anyone else before I go with Marcus here?
Yeah, sort of to the side. I take it there's a desk with someone behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go over and just say, would you have any books in here that might cover maybe legends of a dragon in this land?
So, it is a royal blue robed female Aarakocra, very well groomed. And she would look to you, her hands folded, back up straight, very pretentious. Um, and she would say, "Ah, we do have myths, but there are no dragons located on Darnen.
That is yet to be seen. Where are your books?
We would have them over in the mythical section on the second floor."
And while Marcus is doing his thing, I'll go and read as much about the dragons as I can.
Toodaloo, she would say. And
I'll look at her strangely, like, what the fuck does that mean?
and she
It's an
just
Aarakocra way of speech.
she turns away and just like quietly glides across the floor pretty much. So Marcus, what are you looking for first?
What I was looking for in terms of what?
Yeah, we'll go to 9 by the way, so I'll just give you guys the information you get from here, and then we'll start next session with that info.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
you said you were looking for history of the guilds. You were looking for like
Oh,
magic creatures, magic
yeah,
locations.
supernatural creatures and magical locations in the island, and
So
of
what?
the early period of
Oh yeah.
colonization of this island.
So which would you try to search for first?
Well, Hawk is
First,
definitely interested in that magical bestiary.
Okay.
yeah, I think first I would like to know the origins of the factions and of the early colonization phase of this island.
Okay. Go ahead and roll investigation to try and find the history section.
Oh boy,
I
okay.
forgot to say, on top of the
Shouldn't be hard.
On top of the
11.
dragons, also like mythical weapons as well. That's
Oh,
another
cool.
important thing.
All right, cool. So investigation at 10. It takes you a little bit. It's a bit of a maze. You get a little lost, but you are able to like luckily come across history off the corner of your eye. And you do find you're looking through these books and you come across very interesting symbols on two of the books. One book is like an upside down triangle with like an eye on it. It's purple, and the eye sort of has like this swirling, design in the middle of it. It has no title on it. Um, so you can go ahead and open that up. It's pretty small. It's not like a big thick book. It's
Yeah.
probably like a few hundred pages.
I'll just read it pretty quickly, just try and point out the major information.
Okay. So you do see, you're very surprised to see that it says a guide to understanding Talonbrand.
Mm-hmm.
And it would say that it is one of uh, the earliest settling factions of the land. It would speak on their that they worship a deity, that they've conjured up. They call this deity Vurakar, Avatar of Vitality, and it's sort of a symbol to their faction. I'll go ahead and put that there. It is
Vork.
described as the personification of the force of. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. My bad. So yeah, I guess you can utilize whatever information you get from that. This is the correct one. No big deal.
Oh,
Exandra, Avatar of Mystery, is what you're told in this guide is sort of their um, symbol, this deity they've conjured that is described as the personification of the force of magic. And the form that it takes is a colossal androsphinx deity, so a female sphinx. They are very affiliated with magic. They have a very great expertise for it. The largest studied magic faction on the island. They've got great libraries conjured of it, great laboratories, um, and they detest um, steel and weaponry.
hmm.
And that's pretty much
Even I
what.
do prefer magic, but detest steel and weaponry. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything about Bronze Guard?
Go ahead and make a investigation roll for that.
Investigation?
Yeah, to see if you ever find a book about it. Cool.
18.
Okay. So you're able to find a diamond-shaped symbol that is red. Excuse me, it would be orange, and it's got a symbol of like uh, anvil in the center of it. And you can assume, okay, this last one was a symbol without a title. This is probably similar. And you'd open it up, and it would say a guide to Bronzeguard. This one would be a little bit smaller. It looks like they don't have as much information on it as Talonbrand, but you would see pretty much the same thing skimming it. That it is a faction that values strength. Their conjured sort of deity that they personified for themselves is a Minotaur deity that is named the name that I gave you, Vurakar, Avatar of Vitality. You would know that it is a personification of the force of nature. The form that they give it is a colossal minotaur. Um, and you would know that in their capital, a huge steel statue depicting the form made of just solid steel towers over the streets of the faction's capital. Um,
Okay,
and they despise the arcane arts.
well, Bronze Guard clearly have no taste.
Yeah,
Well, on to beasts now, if I can.
sure. All right, go
Uh,
ahead and do investigation for that then.
18.
Awesome. So you see a large book, a spined book of just like tentacles and mass on it. And this would catch your eye. And you would see that looking deeper and deeper into the pages of this book, you're frightened to see that there are a lot of feared sea creatures on the coast of this island. Stuff like krakens and otyughs and aboleths, and giant sharks and the like. You would see that on the more mountainous regions of the island, there you would know that there is like one giant volcano on the island. You could assume that this might be the giant mountain that is spoken of. Um, but we've got stuff like storm giants, like giants that just wander the mountainous region of different elements. And those would be like the wildlife that stand out, away from like your standard like boars and elk and stuff like that.
Anything about fey creatures?
You would see that there's a brief mention of it. It would say, let's see, let me double check here. You would say in Broad Rain Woods, outside of the secretive forest city of Lilin Luna.
Okay.
It is a secretive elven city where only elves reside, within the forest of Broadraid Woods. And you would know that dryads guard it, as well as some fey creatures, but not many people have been able to study those woods because of the powerful woodland creatures that guard it.
Well, that's because I've never been there. Well,
Yeah,
I got everything I needed.
there you go.
I'm heading back to the group.
Sounds good. Get some good information. And then the last research thing um, was what Alex wanted to research. What was that again that Yukiro wanted to look
The
at?
dragon and mythical weapons on the island.
Okay, cool. So go and roll investigation for that.
Hopefully not a 3.
Okay. So you were not able to find a book on mythical weapons from your search, and you sort of get exhausted. But you are able to see the book on what you said specifically dragons.
Yeah, or any like myth or legend of any dragon worship or anything on the island.
Okay, so you'd see like an elegant like Nordic sketch of a dragon's head breathing fire on one of these books. And it is once again a smaller book, not very thick, not a lot of info, but you would see the myth and the legend of this dragon that, people use to send fright into explorers to not go near the largest, mountain and the and the only volcano of this island. Um, and they would their name for this creature, this mythical dragon, would be Igon, the iconoclast. So let me do that.
Is there anything saying about him being one of the deity dragons?
It is said that he was conjured up by the factions. They both agree in its existence, but the masses of Darnen regard it as just like a tactic of control to send fear into the civilians of Darnen.
It
Um,
could have, did you say believe or worship or
believe.
believe?
Yeah, not worship, but believe. And you would know that um, this mountain is located outside of Iron Haven, which is just like a big stone steel citadel type city where many warriors go to live. It would have some recent entries where it's like more information, you know, more people have claimed to cite this dragon, but it's sort of written as like conspiracy, like this is hogwash, but whatever, I'll put it in this book saying that, it's a stone dragon that slumbers beneath a mountain, blah, 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 whatever. Um, so that's pretty much the information that you get.
That Igon, is that IGON or Y?
IGAN. I wrote it in the chat.
Awesome.
All right, so those are the books that we've researched. We've gotten a little bit more ambiguous, but also um, intriguing information on these factions that we were told about. We now know like a pretty good amount about what's being told about them. We've got some information on some other locations on Darnen, Lil and Luna, Ironhaven, and then we will go ahead and next session figure out where we want to go next, see if we want to pursue any of these jobs or get some food and drink. So thanks guys
Sounds
for
great.
playing. I think it was a good first session.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll adventure the docks of the seaside city in New Water in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
it was
cool.
cool.
I'll see you guys later.